Individuality is a theme in the 57th gate. As a theme, individuality runs through deeply. It runs through everything about the life force. So there are more individual gates than anything else. You probably know this if you are studying this with me. So you have this deep power of individuality. I go to that because I want you to understand that one of the most powerful senses for us is acoustic. I mean, we can influence people by the sound on a very deepest level. And the only way that you can really sell anything, the deepest way that you can sell something is acoustic as well. So that's why, for example, the word of mouth, regardless of all other advertising, and all of the advertising can initiate word of mouth, so that the word of mouth is the most powerful one. When one person telling another person about something independently, that's the most powerful advertising there is. It is actually the advertisement that my work heavily based on. It is advertising that is seen without motivation. In other words, you are not telling that it is great because they want you to buy it. They're telling you it's great because they've accomplished something there, and they're eager to share this. So in other words, they have been able to progress in terms of style. And remember, individuality brings this whole business of that we have to adapt our styles, our clothing styles, our living styles, etc. So when you come to the 57th gate, one of the things to recognize is how you get information across. And the third line says, acuteness. The perfected intelligence where clarity eliminates doubt and ensures manifestation. The possibility of perfected intuition. The perfected intuition. So this is a rare singularity. There is no polarity here in this third line. So it's about this. If what you are offering, if the truth of it can be heard, you will be able to move the product. So the truth of it has to be heard. Like for many years in Raoul, whose work in establishing the human design updates, it was his goal to get to a place where there would be many contributors, many people talking about human design and spreading the word. And there are many contributors who are outside of directors of organizations who make contributions. But people who are simply in design, who enjoy design and make contributions and write articles, and those articles have enormous impact. That's why, for example, I always say that there are no competitors in human design business for me. We're all colleagues. Everybody who says something about human design, posts something about human design, we're all helping each other. I mean, they have more impact, all those articles, than any of the advertising that is actually on the updated scale all the time, like you pay thousands of dollars. These articles are much more valuable. In other words, this is testimonial. This is that transformation of the experience to the other with clarity. And one of the things that it brings me to is something very important about the nature of operating any kind of enterprise in which you are not alone. It is all rooted in communication and what people actually hear. We have listening and we have hearing. I can be listening to the radio and hearing nothing. But if my favorite song comes in, I really hear it. So this is just the levels of attention, if you will. And it is one of the things to recognize about the ongoing operation of any enterprise is that it requires communication. But it is very important to see it. It is the acuteness. One of the real difficulties of human interaction is beating around the bush. It means not to go directly at things. It's to go around them somehow. So it kind of weaves some kind of road that people sort of following you and they don't know where the hell you're going. And all of a sudden you bring them to a point. There is a technique that is often used by people. But here, acuteness is the key. If you can give clear directives and clear directives are heard, then you're going to have success. If people are just listening to the blah blah of any operational concept, it doesn't mean that they are going to actually be able to implement it. So acuteness here is something very important. And it brings us to the 50th gate.